Hello everyone. Um, Today we'll be discussing Workfront's API Explorer. So API Explorer is basically used to get more information about Workfront objects like projects, programs, portfolio, etc. Okay, so um, you might be wondering why we need this basically, right? Why do we need this in the first place? So think about a situation where you are developing an integration in Fusion and you might want to call a Workfront API to get more information about an object like a project, portfolio, program, etc. Right? So you would need to formulate an API URL and you might need to call that API URL to get more information about the object, right? So it's very important that you understand how to use Workfront's API Explorer. API Explorer is here, as you can see, this is the API Explorer. It's kind of a bit confusing if you see it here. It's for a first timer. It's not very easy to understand API Explorer, right? So there are a lot of objects here, and you might be wondering how do you use this object? How do we formulate the API URL? Um, so we will go through that with you today. Okay, so let's get started here. Okay. Okay, so let's go through this section first. Methods. So these are the methods supported by Workfront APIs. So basically, you have get method. Get method is basically to get more information about an object, right? So if you want to get more information about a project, you can use a get method. Post method is basically to insert data into Workfront. Okay, so you can use post method if you want to insert data into Workfront. Put method if you want to update data in Workfront, you can use put method. Okay, delete method is basically used to delete an object or delete an object,
Okay,
let's say.
so let's see how we can construct the API URL. Okay, so basically this is the format of a Workfront API URL. Okay, the first part, as you can see, is the $$ host. Okay, what is that? This is nothing but your Workfront URL. Okay, xyz.my.workfront.com. XYZ is your company name .my.workfront.com. Okay, uh, now add task API, right? This is going to be constant always. Okay, version x.x vx.x. That means this is the latest version of the API. Okay, how can you get this? Go to API Explorer, and then on the right side you can see the API version, right? Right now the latest version is 19.0. Okay, so that's what you need to write here, v19.0. Okay, slash object type. This is nothing but the object type that you're working with. Okay, for project it will be PROJ. For documents it will be DOCU. For programs it will be PRGM. For portfolios it will be PORT. Okay, now how do you get this? Go to API Explorer, just type project. Okay, for project it will be PROJ. If you want the right format for programs, just type program, and then here you go, PRGM is the right format. You want it for portfolios, portfolio, type portfolio here, and then you can see the right format for portfolio, PORT. Right now, action. What operation are you going to use? Are you going to do on the object? Right, if you're going to do a search operation, then you need to type search there. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, now let's see an example here. Okay, so basically this is $host, which is nothing but your Workfront URL. Okay, and then add task API is going to be constant. Version 19.0 is the latest version of the API. PROJ is the object type for project, and we are doing a search on the project. Okay, and question mark, this is basically whatever comes after question mark is basically your query parameter. Okay, you are basically querying something, right? What are we querying? We want fields equal to star. That means we want all the fields of that object. Okay, that's what it means. Star means I want everything. I want all the fields. and ID equal to so and so, right? This is basically the filter condition, right? I want to filter by ID equal to so and so, right? Basically, in other words, I want to query the project where ID equal to this ID, and I want all the fields of that project. Okay, that's what it means. Okay.
So let's understand collections. Okay, so collections are nothing but child objects. For example, in a project, you might have multiple tasks. Say, for example, I have a requirement to pull out details of the task, right? I need to use collection. Okay, so let's see that. So the format is like this: object type followed by the field, the collection field. Okay, object type colon followed by the collection field. So here's the URL, right? xyz.myworkfront.com. This is the host name or the workfront URL. At task API is going to be constant. Version 19.0 is basically the API version. Proj search. I'm going to search for project. Okay, and fields equal to star. So I want to pull out all the fields of the project object. Now, this is where we are using the collections tasks. Okay, this is the collection object. Okay, this is basically the child object. Okay, task colon. What is that? Fields. So I want to pull out assign to ID of the task, right? That's what it means. Okay, and ID. And this is basically the filter condition. ID equal to so and so. This is basically the project ID. I want to filter by this ID. Okay, basically what it does is basically it searches for project where ID equal to this ID. Okay, it pulls out all the fields. Fields equal to star means it pulls out all the fields of the project object, comma, plus it also pulls out the assign to ID of the task. Okay, that's what it does basically. And the output will be like this, right? You will see the task object here, and you have the assign to ID, right? So this will be the output, plus it will also have all the fields of the project object. Okay, now if you go to the API Explorer, let's go to project object. So this is the project object, right? Now there is something called collections, right? This is where you'll get all the child objects, right? And basically I'm interested in task, right? So just go to task, right? Task, here it is. Now here, this is the format of task, right? TASKS, right? This is the format of task. That's what I've written here, right? Task colon assign to ID. How did I get that? Assign to ID, right? Go click on this link here, okay? And then it will go to the task object, and here you can see all the fields associated with that object, right? And I'm basically interested in assign to ID, right? So this is the format for assign to ID, right? That's exactly what I wrote here. Okay, so this is how you call the child objects. You get information about the child objects. Okay, I hope you got it. So let's understand references. References are nothing but related objects. Let's take a scenario. I'm pulling out details of my project. Okay, so I get information about my project, but I also need information about my portfolio. For example, I need information about the portfolio name, right? How do I get that? My project object will give me all the details of the project, but it doesn't give me details of my portfolio name, right? So I would need to use something called references. Okay. Okay, so let's understand how to use the reference object. Okay, so this is the format: reference object colon field name. Okay, now let's try to understand how we can formulate the URL. Okay, so this is the URL. Okay, let me copy paste it in a notepad. Yeah, so basically the first format, the first part is basically the base URL. At task API is going to be constant. V19.0 is the version. Project search, I'm going to search for the project.
where fields equal to star. I want all the fields basically. Then you have the references. I want to pull out portfolio name. Okay, so for that I need to give the portfolio object code. Portfolio is the code, colon name. I want to pull out the name of the portfolio, and this is the filter condition. ID equal to so and so. Okay, basically I want to pull out the project where ID equal to this ID, and I want to pull out all the fields of the project, plus I want to pull out the portfolio name. Okay, now how did I get this portfolio? Okay, this particular format, how did I get that? I'll tell you that. Just go here to the API Explorer. So let's first go to the project object. Okay, project. So this is the project object, right? PROJ. From there, let's go to references. Okay, and I want basically the portfolio, right? So just click on portfolio, right? So here, this is the code portfolio, right? That's what I have added here. Portfolio colon name. How did I get the name? Just go to the portfolio objects by clicking here on this link, right? And then it will pull out all the associated fields of the portfolio object. Now let's go to name. Okay, basically I want to pull out the name of the portfolio, right? That's how it is formulated. Okay, now let's go back. Let's see the output. So you'll find the portfolio details, right? Here it is. The portfolio name is given here. Test portfolio weapon one. Okay.
So this is how you use the API Explorer, okay, to formulate the API URL and also to find information about different objects of Workfront. Okay, so I hope this video was useful for you. If you have any queries or doubts, please let me know via the comment section. Okay, have a nice day.